All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Yumi, and I am one of the program coordinators at Claire. And on behalf of the Department of JET Program Management, I would now like to explain some important information about the JET program and also make some announcements regarding this orientation. You can find the handout for this session called 2018 Post-Arrival Orientation JET Program Essential Information and Disaster Preparedness in your JET bag. And you may wish to take notes as you follow along. So first, I would like to talk about the structure of the JET program. The JET program is administered by and for Japanese local authorities, that is, prefectures, designated cities, towns, and villages. In JET program terminology, local authorities are called contracting organization. As a JET participant, you will receive remuneration to be a government employee or a private school employee working for a Japanese local authority or private school, and you will be engaged in the further development of foreign language education and international exchange. For this reason, each of you will be an invaluable asset to your contracting organization. Please be aware that ending your term of appointment prematurely, behaving inappropriately at work or in private, and other such actions have an incredibly large impact on your contracting organization, the local community, and your students. There's a lot of new information here, so I'll explain the structure and all the different components in more detail. At the top, we have the three ministries: the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, Sports, and Technology, who, in collaboration with Claire, oversee the operation of the JET program and provide support to the local governments and private schools administering the JET program. In terms of the JET program, host prefectures and designated cities perform the following functions. They work together with the contracting organizations in their jurisdiction to administrate the JET program by providing information, provide guidance to contracting organizations by responding to inquiries, nominate and or select prefectural advisors, which are commonly known or referred to as PAs, plan and execute prefectural orientation, training seminars, and skills development conferences, or SDCs. Contracting organizations are, in most cases, either a prefectural or municipal board of education or private school, and perform the following functions for JET participants. Provide employment and remuneration to JET participants, perform administrative tasks, and assist with various procedures necessary for living and working in Japan. Provide guidance on work-related matters, management of JET employees, provide work performance evaluation, reference letters, proof of employment after JET, and some may provide assistance with matters of daily life, including housing and transportation. Lastly, we have home country embassies, which can provide support in emergency situations and contact the family of the JET participant in some situations. It is important for JET participants to register their residence with their country's embassy. It is vital that you understand that your contracting organization is your employer, not any of the ministries, Claire, or the JET program. This employer-employee relationship between contracting organization and JET participant is the core of the JET program. It is your contracting organization who pays your remuneration, and you should adhere to the instructions of your contracting organization when carrying out your work duties. As your employer, only your contracting organization is able to do such things such as provide an explanation of your employment terms and conditions, register you for employees' health insurance, arrange your work schedule, and discuss and help to resolve issues you may encounter in the workplace. As neither Claire nor the three ministries have any direct authority over the host prefectures and designated cities and contracting organizations which administer the JET program, Claire and the three ministries cannot mediate disputes between contracting organizations, and JET participants. In cases where JET participants have disputes with contracting organizations or other JET participants, CLARE's role is almost always limited to providing advice and support to the contracting organization upon their request. A staff member at your contracting organization will be designated as your supervisor. It is important that you build a positive relationship by maintaining frequent and open communication and regularly consulting with him or her. I mentioned earlier that the host prefectures and designated cities select certain JETs to be PAs. These PAs' roles are to provide support as a link between the contracting organizations and JET participants. The two most common types of PAs are CIRPA at the host prefecture and designated city level, and ALTPA at the contracting organization level, which is usually the Prefectural Board of Education. Almost all host prefecture and designated cities have at least one Japanese PA and one JET PA, but some may have more PAs depending on their situation. As you can see from this slide, under the current support system, contracting organizations are meant to be the first point of contact for JET participants. You should share your concerns and work closely with your contracting organization supervisor and/or coworkers to find a solution to work-related problems. If you decide to contact your PA, however, be sure to inform your contracting organization of the fact and expect that the PA will ask if you have spoken with your contracting organization supervisor. So now I will explain about what CLARE's role in the JET program is. CLARE stands for the Council of Local Authorities for International Relations. CLARE exists to support local governments in their efforts to internationalize. In terms of the JET program, this means that CLARE supports local governments that hire JET program participants. CLARE is primarily involved with JET participant placement and the implementation of training conferences for both JET participants and contracting organizations. In addition, CLARE provides resources for JET participants, such as useful publications for JET participants and contracting organizations, and a mental health support system exclusively for JET participants. CLARE supports JET participants in improving their level of Japanese ability and translation and interpretation skills. CLARE provides free online Japanese language courses which approximately correspond with levels 5 through 3 of the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, or JLPT. If you register to take one of the Japanese language courses before May 10th, you will be able to start the course in June. For further information, please refer to the Japanese Language Course Guide, a handout that is included in your JET bag. As studying Japanese is essential for a more comfortable work experience and life in Japan, we strongly encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. CLARE also offers a subsidy for JET participants who pass N1, N2, or N3 of the JLPT and meet the necessary conditions. For more information, please refer to the JET program website. We will send out information about CLARE's translation and interpretation course to contracting organizations in the near future as well. CLARE also produces a monthly email newsletter called CLARE News. The newsletter contains important information from CLARE to contracting organizations and JET participants. In addition to being sent to the email address you register with CLARE, the newsletter will also be accessible via the JET program official website. Next, a few words about the mental health support system in place for JET program participants. Living in a foreign country and getting used to a different work culture can be very stressful, and sometimes it is more than someone can cope with on their own. CLARE recognizes the importance of professional mental health support and counseling for JET participants, and thus provides the JET online counseling service, which offers free counseling through webmail and Skype, and the Mental Health Counseling Assistance Program, through which a partial subsidy is provided to JET participants for counseling costs incurred through consultation with a mental health professional in Japan. We have included a handout about the JET online counseling service in your JET bags. For more details about either of the two sources of support for JET participants, please speak with your contracting organization supervisor. You should all have a form entitled Request to Register Contact Information in your JET bags. Please look at this form. If you have not received this form, please inform staff at the end of this presentation. Does everyone have the paper? It's request to register contact information. If you have not received this form, please inform staff at the end of this presentation. Please access the URL written on the form and register your email address and the other requested information. As Claire will use this email address to send you important information regarding the JET program, we ask that everyone please register as soon as possible. This information will be shared with Claire and relevant government organizations and will be vital information in times of emergency. We recommend that you provide an email address that you use frequently and can access from home. It is especially important to let Claire know as soon as possible if your email address has changed. Otherwise, you may not be able to receive necessary information about the JET program from Claire. Claire also provides various information about life in Japan, such as taxes, transportation, housing, and so on in 15 different languages. You can access this information on the Claire website by searching Claire Multilingual Living Information. So Claire would also like to remind you of a few important matters regarding Japanese law and online safety and responsibility. The first is in regards to the use and possession of drugs. The possession, use, and attempted purchase or importation of drugs in Japan is strictly prohibited by Japanese law. Not only cocaine and heroin, but marijuana is also punished just as severely in Japan. Marijuana may be legal in some countries, but it is treated as a serious crime in Japan. Recreational use of marijuana is not tolerated. If you are found guilty of possessing illegal substance, you may be sentenced up to 10 years in prison. And this will strongly affect your chances of being granted permission to return to Japan in the future. Also, receiving a package that includes drugs like marijuana from friends and family back home is also treated as a serious crime. Next is driving in Japan. Please note that the regulations regarding international driving permits may differ according to your nationality, and the procedures for obtaining a Japanese driver's license may differ from area to area in Japan. We recommend that you consult with your contracting organization supervisor about necessary procedures before driving a vehicle in Japan. For further information, please refer to page 125 in your General Information Handbook. Also, there is a zero tolerance in Japan for drinking and driving. This means that you cannot drive after having any amount of alcohol. In addition, please be aware that it is also illegal for you to knowingly ride in a vehicle with a driver who has been drinking. and that you can be held responsible for allowing someone who has been drinking to drive. It is also illegal to ride a bike while intoxicated, and jet accident insurance will not cover accidents that occur while intoxicated. Unfortunately, in recent years, there has been a case where a jet participant hit a little child with her car on her way home from work. As it is easy to have impaired attention due to fatigue after work, please be careful if you drive a car or ride a bike. Next, I would like to talk about interactions with students and minors. In Japan, even in cases of mutual consent, it is strictly forbidden by law to engage in sexual activity with a person under 13 years of age. In cases of sexual conduct where the victim is between the ages of 13 and 18, the offender will be punished according to their local government's juvenile protection ordinance. Furthermore, molestation, such as bodily contact, kissing, removing the underage party's clothing, and so on, is punished in the same way. Finally, regarding online safety and responsibility, please be especially careful of what personal information you put online, be it on your blog or social network sites, both for your own safety and the reputation of your workplace. Please be aware that many schools prohibit putting pictures of students and their work on SNS and online. Also, please be careful to avoid being the victim of a crime by paying attention to your surroundings and protecting your personal belongings. While Japan is often said to be a relatively safe country, it is of course still possible to become the victim of a crime here. Please be extra careful when going out late at night and when in crowded areas such as an entertainment district. Unfortunately, every year, a number of JET participants have engaged in these kinds of activities. We ask you to remember that these rules apply to all of you, so please behave accordingly. Moreover, there's a way of thinking in Japan called supervisory responsibility, which may result in the reduction of your supervisor's salaries if you commit a crime. If you get arrested and prosecuted, you will be detained in a custody or prison for months in some cases until the trial ends. Moreover, for a certain period of time, you may be prohibited from contacting anyone except your attorney. If found guilty, your contract as a JET program participant will be terminated, and it is highly likely you will be deported from Japan without permission of re-entry. The incident will be reported on the news with your name and the names of related parties. As an employee of a local government, you are required to behave according to high ethical standards. Please remain conscious of this fact and behave in a way that earns the trust of your students, coworkers, and members of the local community. Moving on, I would now briefly talk about insurance. All JET participants are covered by 4 types of insurance: employees' health insurance, JET accident insurance, employees' pension insurance, and employment insurance. For more information, please refer to pages 53 to 61 in the General Information Handbook. And if in doubt, make sure to ask your contracting organization supervisor. Your health insurance card is very important. Please make sure to keep it in a safe place and take it with you every time you go to a medical facility. On the JET program website, you can find the JET program Accident Insurance Policy Guide, which explains the insurance coverage in detail. Through this guide and the other information located on the JET program website, you can learn the process for making an insurance claim, the details of your coverage, and where you can make inquiries about your insurance plan. Now I'll make some announcements regarding this orientation. First, this orientation is a business conference, and you are required to attend all sessions. Please be aware that attendance will be checked throughout this orientation, starting with the next seminar. As you enter workshop rooms, orientation staff will either be distributing attendance cards, or these cards will be set on a podium or table at the entrance to the room. Please ensure that you take a card, fill in the necessary details, and return the card to orientation staff at the end of the workshop. We ask for your kind understanding and cooperation, as we will be recording some of the workshops in this orientation to provide new JET participants arriving later in the year with the same information that you will receive at this orientation. Some of the videos will be uploaded to the official website at a later date. Please ask your contracting organization supervisor for details if you are interested in viewing other workshops or rewatching videos from this orientation. You are expected to be in business attire for the entirety of this orientation, including the welcome reception. More specifically, men are asked to wear a suit jacket and necktie, and women a suit jacket. However, you may remove your jacket during the orientation if you become uncomfortable. Furthermore, you have all been issued name tags. You are required to wear your name tags for the entirety of orientation, including all meals. There is important information on your name tag which you will need throughout orientation, including class assignments for certain ALT workshops. Please refrain from using cell phones, smartphones, and tablets during the orientation. An orientation survey was included in the JET bag you received at check-in. Please make sure to fill it out and submit it to orientation staff tomorrow afternoon during the time designated for survey completion and submission. You have all received an AJET flyer in your JET bags. AJET, the Association for Japan Exchange and Teaching, is a volunteer support network run by JET participants for the JET community, and is composed of prefectural AJET chapters and the AJET National Council. AJET provides useful information regarding life in Japan for JET participants via social media and their magazine. AJET representatives will be at the booth in front of the welcome reception venue tonight between 5:15 and 8 o'clock. If you would like to be involved and volunteer with AJET, please feel free to visit their booth or contact them directly. Next, I'd like to move on to talking about disaster preparedness. We realize that it is not possible to provide you with all the information related to disasters and emergency situations in time allotted to this presentation. Rather, the aim of this presentation is to provide everyone here with basic but essential information about Japan's natural disasters, give you an idea of some of the do's and don'ts in such situations, and provide information on helpful resources offered by Claire and other parties. Japan is a country that is prone to various natural disasters. As you are likely aware, in 2011, the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan struck the country's northeastern region, generating an enormous tsunami wave, which took almost 20,000 lives. Furthermore, 2 years ago, in April 2016, a magnitude 7 earthquake hit Kumamoto Prefecture, setting off a chain of earthquakes and causing tremendous damage in both Kumamoto and Oita prefectures. Based on research data by the Japan Institute of Countryology and Engineering, actually 20.5% of all earthquakes worldwide measuring magnitude 6 or greater on the seismic intensity scale occur in Japan. There is not only a high risk of earthquakes and tsunamis in Japan, but the country is also affected every year by typhoons, heavy rainfall, heavy snowfall, floods, landslides, and volcanic eruptions. Every year around June, all of Japan except for Hokkaido is visited by the rainy season, or tsuyu as it is called in Japanese, which can lead to heavy rainfall almost daily. Not surprisingly, This heavy rainfall can cause flooding and landslides. Furthermore, every summer, typhoons cause damage to coastal areas, such as knocking down trees and bringing buildings down, not to mention causing strong winds and heavy rainfall over wide areas of the country. In winter, Hokkaido, the Tohoku region, and prefectures bordering the Sea of Japan regularly face heavy snowfall and snowstorms. The snow may be so heavy in some areas that residents must frequently remove the snow from their roof to prevent it from caving in under the weight of the snow. Last but not least, Japan is located above 4 major tectonic plates, and their movements have contributed to the formation of over 100 active volcanoes in Japan, leading to a huge number of earthquakes every year. But our intention is not to simply scare you on your first full day here in Japan with this presentation. And of course, not all regions in Japan face exactly the same risks of natural disasters. I was a JET participant myself for 3 years in Iwate Prefecture, and during my time on JET, we only had a handful of small earthquakes. However, we think that it is essential information for you to be aware it is essential for you to be aware of the realities and possibilities of natural disasters in Japan, so that you know how to make your preparations in case a disaster strikes in your area. A disaster could happen at any time, and it is probably easier to remain calm in such a situation when you are well prepared. So let's first talk about what to do when a disaster strikes. We do not have time to cover all the different kinds of natural disasters, so we will only focus on earthquakes and typhoons and torrential rain, as these tend to be the most common or likely natural disasters that you may experience. This graph from the Japan Meteorology Agency shows what can happen during an earthquake according to its size. As you can see here, if an earthquake of 5 upper or higher on the seismic scale strikes, Gokyo in Japanese, there is most likely a need to take action. If you use a Japanese phone provider, you may also receive a warning on your phone through the earthquake early warning system in the case of a strong earthquake. When this system is in operation, an alarm will be sent to your mobile phone, and you may even be sent an advance announcement of the estimated seismic intensities and expected arrival time of the shaking, a few seconds to minutes before the shaking starts. While the earthquake is happening, when at home, do not rush outside until the shaking subsides. While your surroundings are shaking, protect yourself by finding shelter under a table. This is so you can protect your head from any falling objects. If there is no place to hide in the immediate vicinity when the shaking starts, protect your head with a pillow or similar object. After the earthquake, first immediately turn off any gas and heating appliances. Anything that could cause a fire should be turned off. Next, secure a way to evacuate the premises. Open the doors to rooms and the entrance to the room or building. Always wear shoes even when indoors to avoid injury, as there could be pieces of broken glass or other dangerous objects on the floor. It is possible that less powerful shaking, called aftershocks, may occur following the main quake. Remember to stay calm and avoid panicking even when you feel the aftershocks. Try to obtain accurate information on your own. Follow the news on TV, the internet, and radio to stay correctly informed. After a major earthquake, it is possible to be misinformed by rumors and hearsay. If necessary, get ready to evacuate to a designated shelter. Designated shelters may differ based on the type of disaster. When you arrive at your contracting organization, be sure to confirm with your supervisor where the nearest designated shelter is in relation to both your workplace and your house. Before you leave the house, Make sure you shut off the gas supply valve as well as the circuit breaker in order to prevent fires. If you are in a building, always use the stairs to evacuate. You should not use elevators. In case you need to evacuate on foot to a designated shelter. You should always walk when you evacuate. Never use cars, motorcycles, bicycles, or public transportation. Do not try to take more than you need for emergency survival. If you're away from home when an earthquake strikes, stay away from vending machines, utility poles, gates, and concrete block walls at the time of the earthquake. Protect your head with your bag or a similar object from possible falling objects, such as broken windows or signboards. Find an open area or a park to which you can evacuate. In a high-rise building, evacuate from the building by using the stairs. You should never use elevators during or shortly after an earthquake. On a train, if you're standing on a train, grab a strap or bar to prevent yourself from falling. After the train stops, you should stay calm and wait for the instructions from the conductor. If you are driving a car, holding the steering wheel firmly, slow down and stop the car on the left side of the road and turn off the engine. Wait in the car and follow the news on the radio or internet until the quake ceases. Follow the directions given by the police. So bring potted plants, laundry poles, and any other objects placed on the balconies inside. And when a typhoon, torrential rain hits your area, don't go outside and stay away from places that may be dangerous, like the seaside or riverside. Depending on local geographical conditions, your area may have a greater risk of unexpectedly high tides, flooding, or landslides caused by the typhoon or torrential rain. If time allows, prepare goods for the coming storm and potential power outages such as flashlights, batteries, non-perishable foods, bottled water, sanitary items, and so on. You should securely shut all windows and shutters. Don't go outside and stay away from places that may be dangerous, like the seaside or riverside. Depending on local geographical conditions, your areas may have a greater risk of unexpected high tides, flooding, or landslides caused by the typhoon or torrential rain. Listen to weather watches and warnings issued by the meteorological agency and frequently check the weather news on TV, the internet, and or radio for the latest storm watches and warnings. Stay away from basements as they may be easily flooded during heavy rain, and do not use an elevator if you need to go downstairs. Japan is hit by a number of typhoons every year, usually between August and October. We have been talking about what to do when a disaster strikes, but let us now focus on how you can best prepare yourselves in advance for natural disasters. First of all, it is important to inform yourself about the most common kinds of disasters or extreme weather in your area and how to be prepared beyond the topics covered in this presentation. Your host prefecture or designated city might also be able to provide English brochures or disaster preparedness training for you. So we recommend asking your contracting organization supervisor and or prefectural advisor, your PA, about such information. There are many more weather phenomenon and natural disasters common to Japan that we cannot cover in detail during this orientation. However, Claire collaborates with the Japan Weather Association every year to produce English subtitles for the association's educational video series, easy to understand weather phenomenon and natural disasters, as part of a larger effort to provide educational material about natural disasters to foreigners in Japan. These videos are approximately 20 minutes in length and explain both the mechanism behind natural disasters and how to respond in the case of an emergency. The videos are available on Claire's website under Support. We encourage everyone to watch these videos in their free time. Next, some advice regarding disaster and emergency preparation. First, if you plan to travel, it is strongly recommended that you share the details of your travel plans so that your contracting organization will be able to confirm your safety in the case of an emergency. Also, please be aware of the following emergency telephone numbers in Japan. 110 can be used to contact the police to report a crime or traffic accident. 119 can be used to report a fire or to call for an ambulance when emergency medical care is needed. Both of these numbers can be called 24 hours a day. You can request an English interpreter. Next, I will talk about Claire's Safety Confirmation System. This system is operated by Claire and is used to confirm the safety of JET participants through a mailing system in times of major disasters. It is very important that you register your contact information with the JET Safety Confirmation System as soon as possible. The URL for the website is included in your handout materials. In order to log into this JET Safety Confirmation System, you will need to enter your user ID and password. Your user ID is your JET number with the first 2 digits removed. Thus, your user ID should be 9 digits. Your default password is the exact same 9-digit number. Please change your user ID and password to something easy to remember as soon as possible. After logging in for the first time, you'll be asked to change your password. After changing your password, you'll be able to register your contact information, such as your email address and phone number, on the next page. Please enter at least one form of contact information on this page, and remember to update your information if your phone number or email address changes. We have included a basic guide on how to use the safety confirmation system in your jet bags, so please take a look at it later. More detailed information on how to use the safety confirmation system, including an English version of the user guide, is available via the official JET program website on the page exclusively for contracting organization supervisors. If you have any questions about the system, please consult with your contracting organization supervisor. The Claire's Safety Confirmation System will be activated automatically in the event that an earthquake of an upper 5 or above occurs. A safety confirmation email will be sent every single time an earthquake of an upper 5 or above takes place, even if they all happen within a very short time frame. As the situation could change by the second during a string of disasters, we would like to ask for your cooperation in letting us know your most up-to-date safety status by responding immediately to those confirmation emails each time. In addition to Claire, the host prefecture and designated city in which you are placed will also have access to information on JET participants under their jurisdiction collected through the JET Safety Confirmation System. Moreover, if deemed necessary, information may also be shared with your home country's embassy, Japanese embassies and consulates in your home country, and the 3 Japanese government ministries. Besides the safety confirmation system operated by Claire, it is likely that your host prefecture and designated city and contracting organization will have their own separate system as well. Be sure to check what you should do and who you should contact during a disaster in advance. Make sure you have the contact information of your supervisors, colleagues, and prefectural advisor. You should find 2 A4-sized handouts on disaster preparedness in your jet bags, both of which you can find on Claire's website under support. One is called the Emergency Pocket Guide for Jets Instructions, which includes a list of emergency items handy to have in case of natural disaster. The other sheet turns into a pocket guide if you follow the instructions on the other sheet and fold it accordingly. In the pocket guide, there's a section on safety confirmation. This has information on the safety confirmation system operated by Claire, which is used to confirm the safety of jet participants through a mailing system in times of major disasters. The email address which you will be contacted at is the same one you register with Claire. In the pocket guide, you can also find the list of important items and the list of items for emergency. The list of important items refers to things such as your residence card and health insurance card, which you should have on you at all times, regardless of whether or not a disaster has occurred. In addition, it is recommended that you also carry this pocket guide with you at all times. It is also a good idea to have a telephone card or coins handy at all times, as mobile phone networks may be down in an emergency situation and you may need to use a public phone. In a large-scale disaster, depending on the situation, electricity, gas, and water may stop temporarily or be unavailable for a number of days, even weeks. It is a good idea to stock up on at least 3 days' worth of food, which can be kept at room temperature, and bottled water. Toilet paper, flashlights, batteries, battery-operated chargers, tissues, candles, matches, and portable gas cookers are good items to have as well. More items are listed on the instructions handout, so please have a look as soon as you get a chance. It is a good idea to keep a backpack with the necessities just mentioned inside somewhere where it can easily be grabbed in case of an emergency or transferred to an evacuation center. Keep in mind that these lists state only the minimum. There are areas of Japan that experience typhoons more often, while some other regions may be more prone to earthquakes. It is important to find out what your placement is like and make preparations to suit the needs of each area. After you settle into your new placement, talk to your supervisor or other people around you about what items are good to have for disaster preparedness and begin making preparations at your earliest convenience. In addition to stocking up on food and daily necessities, there are other things you can do to better prepare yourselves for disasters. If you look at the inside part of the pocket guide, you will find sections on my personal information, work-related and embassy information, an evacuation center, and important contacts. As it is not uncommon to panic or feel confused in times of emergency, it is highly recommended that you fill in the blanks such as your name, address, emergency contact, and so on in advance. Also, should you ever be found unconscious, others can easily get in touch with your friends and family or workplace by looking at this pocket guide. In the pocket guide, there is also space for you to fill out information on your home country embassy. Your embassy may have its own safety confirmation system or manage a mailing list for sending out useful information. Please check your embassy's websites directly for more information. In addition, it is important to get to know the area in which you reside as a member of the community. Upon arrival at your new home, please check the location of your nearest emergency evacuation center. Depending on the region, there are places that conduct disaster preparedness seminars or evacuation drills. Not only are these opportunities to learn about how to protect yourselves in times of emergency, but these can also be a chance for you to interact with and get to know your neighbors. The relationship, the bond, or kizuna you share with the local people, and of course with other JET participants in your area is of critical importance, because you can help each other out during an emergency situation. While of course disasters cannot be prevented, by making preparations in advance, it may be possible to reduce the amount of damage caused. By preparing yourselves mentally and stocking up on essential items, you should be able to lead a more secure, comfortable life here in Japan. All of you here are JET participants. Moreover, you will also become members of the local communities in which you are placed. As an extension of international exchange, we would like to encourage you to build relationships of trust with those around you and make an effort to become active members of your community. These relationships will perhaps never be more important than in times of need such as a natural disaster. Lastly, I would like to summarize the steps Claire strongly recommends you take as soon as possible after arriving at your placements. Write in the important information in the emergency pocket guide, register your information with the JET safety confirmation system, ask your supervisor and contracting organization and or PA about disaster preparedness and prevention, evacuation centers, and emergency drills in your area, and register your information with your home embassy. Thank you for your time and attention. We at Claire wish you all a safe, comfortable life here in Japan and hope that this presentation has better equipped you to adapt to life here in Japan and your work on the JET program. Thank you.